When it comes to crash outs, they come in many shapes and forms. You can tell when someone's a crash out just by the way they look and how they act. But this particular person might be the greatest incognito crash out we've ever seen. This is Young Shion from Weak Hero, and this is the type of crash out you need to avoid. He's an introvert who is very blunt in what he says. On the outside, he looks like a stereotypical smart kid that gets bullied for his lunch money, but on the inside, he's a straight up demon. When people talk about letting their intrusive thoughts take over, this man is the definition of that because he lets them take over and multiplies them by 10. You see, what makes Shion the most dangerous crash out in the show is not because he's smart, but because he has no problem using weapons. Everybody in the show uses their hands and feet. Meanwhile, this man will use every tool known to man to get the drop on you. The entire premises of this show is what happens when you F around and find out. First episode, this man beat the brakes off a group of students just for messing with his study sessions. But it was a justifiable crash out. Shion told them, hey, I'm gonna let this slide because midterm's coming up. But if you keep pushing me, you're gonna find out why I'm the protagonist of this show. Obviously, they didn't listen to him and did something completely stupid. Remember how I said he beat these niggas up just for messing with his studies? Well, you see, they had one of their bully victims, Bum, but I'm gonna call him Bum because that's what he is in my eyes. Drug Shion with a fentanyl patch on his neck.
No good, lousy son of a bitch.
Hey!
Nah, bro, you drugged me with something that could possibly kill me and you expecting anything other than a crash out is beyond me. Once that Fenny pack started kicking in and he got one question on his practice exam wrong, he wasted no time. After he slammed his fist on the desk, you would have thought he was about to recreate the Yakuza meme. Shion looked at Bum right in his eyes because he was about to beat this man worse than his father does him. He snitched so fast that even First 48 was offended about how fast he snitched. Like, damn, can we at least offer you a Korean barbecue before you start talking? My boy walked up to his ops and in his head he was moving like Denzel in The Equalizer. If I knock this one out, the other one will sit back in fear, but if he tries anything, I'll stab him in the shoulder. He grabs his classmate's book and backhands the main bully, stabs the other one with a pen, and this is where he shows the whole class that y'all should be glad that I'm not a school shooter. He wraps the bully's head with the blind and beats him bloody with the book. But you could tell he wasn't done because the same voices that talked to Randy Orton was talking to him. They were telling him, very good, Seal. I told you that you couldn't fight. Great job with the pen. I would have used the scissors, but you'll get there. Now it's time to go from Anakin to Darth Vader. Finish the job. This is a Korean show, not an American show. So you know this spin the block. We don't finish it. Do it, Seal. Do it. If it wasn't for Suho stopping him, that man would have been put on a t-shirt and would have saved us from a lot of the future problems in the show. After a moment like that, you're like, nah, that's not even that big of a crash out. I've seen better. Well, I hate to break it to you, but that wasn't even the real crash out. It was the build up to the actual crash out. Throughout the show, Shion, Suho, and Bum become friends, but Bum becomes the Kiseki of the show and turns into a straight up villain. He puts a hit out on Suho and puts him in a coma. Let's just say it was a good thing he wound up in a coma and didn't die because the blowback would have been 100 times worse. You see, Suho wasn't trying to save Bum from himself. He was trying to save Bum from Shion because he knew there was a real demon amongst them waiting to be unleashed, just like Gon in Hunter x Hunter. Once he saw Suho land in that hospital, he knew they crossed the line and there was no turning back. Now there's two ways he could play this out. He could get the strap and light them niggas up, or he could settle things like a real demon and show them why you leave the quiet people alone.
I choose violence.
My boy wasted no time and went straight to work. Now, I thought he was going straight to the main culprit, which is Bum, but you see, this is why Shion is a real nigga. Wait, he's not black. A real Korean. He didn't just go after Bum, he went after everybody. He pulled up to the other bully school and it was on site. Asked some students what class he was in and it was GG. This man Young walked into class like shit was sweet, and it was almost like everyone in the class knew his ass was cooked because they couldn't stop staring at him. Shion slammed his head on the table like Batman did Joker, and once he realized who was bashing his head in, He saw the Grim Reaper standing right behind him because if he said the wrong thing, he knew he wasn't making it to his senior year. Stabbed him in the shoulder with a pen and forced him to give him some answers. Ji-young was like, listen, I wasn't there. All I did was hear about it. But you see, this is why Shi-young is a demon. He looked him dead in the eyes and said, I don't give a fuck! After clapping the main bully, he went to settle things with the MMA fighter. This man was a straight up bozo because he kept talking about how predictable Shi-young is, and I'm like, okay, if he's so predictable, how come you're getting your ass beat? So he pulled up on him with a pole and was like, you know what? That's not enough. You see, Shi-young took this man's shoelace and started choking him with it. Buddy was damn near about to die all because of a sparring match. Shi-young was like, okay buddy, since you're an MMA fighter that likes to make content, I got the perfect title for you. Pro MMA fighter gets his ankles broke by an introvert. Bro thought he was going to be in a basketball highlight, but literally got his ankle broke. Shi-young took a dumbbell and bashed this man's ankle twice and ended his whole career.
What career?
He took care of the bully and the fighter with no difficulty. Now it's time to finish things once and for all. Shi-young went back to school because you know he got a big test today. But he pulled up with a fire extinguisher and started bashing niggas' brains in. Pulled up to the school with a bloody uniform without a care in the world. Beat the brakes off the other two bullies with that fire extinguisher. And I'm sitting here thinking like, that's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT. Now it's time for Bum to get what he rightfully deserves. But instead, Shi-young lets him live with his sins.
You what?
Now I'm mad he let it slide because he almost killed the only friend he had just because of a girl. But I will say this. It would have been cold. It would have been even colder if Shi-young did all of that and then went to take his test and scored a perfect 100. Like, that's a legendary feat right there. Imagine beating up all of your ops and then acing the test like nothing ever happened.
That's what legendary players do.
One thing about Korean and Japanese shows is that they know how to piss people off in a good way. I literally binge watched this entire show in one sitting just because of how good it was. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and comment. If you want me to make a part 2 of this for this season 2 journey, let me know. And like always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.